God with me, who can be against me? Can't make me suffer, just make me high.
Yeah, motivation. Welcome to Clock It with AD Bryant. It's that time. We're excited. We're excited to be here today. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for my guests that's coming on. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in and everybody that's going to be watching. It's a new day, and it's Clock It with AD Bryant. Uh, It's Just a Game. Point up here. It's Just a Game. It's sponsored by It's Just a Game. You can follow me on all my social media platforms. That's scrolling at the bottom, but you can follow. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this show. But before I do that, let me tell you about me. I am a diehard Ohio guy. My team, the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes. So tonight, we're going to do it tonight. We're going to beat those Longhorns tonight. But I'm a diehard Buckeye fan. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. And I'm a diehard Lakers fan. See, most people got on the bandwagon when LeBron came. I got on the bandwagon when way back in the day, James Worthy came to Tuffy Brooks in Dayton, Ohio, and sat there and signed autographs. And there were not a lot of people there. So I came and he signed about 20 posters for me. And I made that my wallpaper. So I'm a diehard Lakers fan. So anybody say they just jumping on the bandwagon, you had to be way back in the day. But again, let me tell you about the show. Show is a 15-minute show. My guest has 15 minutes. As you can see, there's 15 minutes on the clock. When that 15 minutes in, then game is over. Typically, there are no overtimes. However, if there's a sponsor, then I will give a 5-minute overtime. 5-minute overtime. But when that buzzer go off, the interview is done, game's over, and then we will talk about the next show. But I'm going to give you a prelude of what the next show is going to be like. The next show, the title of the next show is It's Cold in the Portal. It's cold in the portal. The realities of not getting picked up in the portal. So I say that it's cold outside now. It's snow, but that's why that's going to be our next show. This show is going to be, again, informative. It's a different perspective from industry leaders. It will be controversial at times, but very impactful. So like, share, do everything you can to support the show. And now I'm going to bring in our guest for today, the new head football coach at Alabama A&M. Join me in welcoming Coach Sam Shade.
Dr. Bryant, I'm glad to be here, man. I love that music you came in on.
Hey, listen.
T.I. motivation.
Oh, listen. Let me hit it for you one more time because this is what it's all about.
God with me, who can be against me? Can't make me suffer, just make me high.
Motivation. Yes. You know what they say, if God is with me, who can be against me? Right?
Yes.
So
yes.
I get a little motivated. So, Coach, let me just tell you about this show. You're going to be on. You're going to talk. It's 15 minutes on the clock. When that clock shuts down, when it goes down to zero, the horn is going to go off. Game's over. That means the interview is over. I know people are going to be wanting more and that sort of thing. It's over. 15 minutes. All right. Are you ready, Coach?
I'm ready. No overtime.
No overtime. All right. We're going to start the clock right now.
Let's get it.
I did it right now. There we go, Coach. All right. First, Coach, tell me about Winona. A lot of people don't know about Winona. You tell me about Winona. Tell the group about Winona.
Winona, man, it's on the west side of Birmingham. Kind of, it's up on the hill. It's the Bright Star on the hill. That's the school, but the community, man, it's actually a community that's fed by about 4 different smaller communities.
Mm-hmm.
You got a place called Dolomites. You got a place called Potterly. You got a place called New Hill. You got a couple other places, and they all come together like a big melting pot.
And that's how y'all kind of got together and started playing together.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, but it was tough for everybody coming together in high school because the different neighborhoods, you know, at times you know how it is when you're growing up. You kind of
Right.
got a little beef for different little things and whatnot. And then the school, you know, we got the projects right across the street from the school. So, you know, it was a lot happening over there in Winona when I was growing up. A
Yeah.
lot happening.
So you know what you talked about? Well, I see you were a fantastic defensive guy. You go to college and become one of the best safeties. Sometimes some people say cornerback in the NFL safety, but as I understand it, that wasn't your position in high school. So tell me about that transition.
Well, I grew up playing on the offensive side. I love playing the running back position from the time I was 7 years old all the way through high school. So got recruited by a lot of people to play running back. Ended up going to Alabama, and I got there, and they had like four guys that were NFL guys already there, and we were a little thin on defense. Had a couple guys ineligible, had a couple guys injured,
Okay.
and I played both ways in high school just to help the team. So I played
Hmm.
defense and offense in high school to help the team. And I guess I played it well enough to where they felt like I could play it there. So, you know, the coaches came to, and a great story. I go there, I sign as a running back, and I'm sitting in the running back meeting room that first day. The defense coordinator knocks on the door. He said, "Hey man, I need to see Shade." And he said, we got a little problem. We're a little thin over here, man. We need you to play a little defense for us for a little while. I'm thinking I'm going back to offense. That was the last time I sat in that meeting room. Never got one handoff, and the rest is history.
Hey, that's when you say clock it.
Clock it.
Yes, clock it. Because
Clock it.
yeah, actually, that's what made you who you are. That day, you didn't get another handoff. That's who made
No,
you
I
who
didn't. I
you are.
didn't get one, not one handoff,
Not one.
not one.
All right, coach, you know, it appears that your life has been filled with championships, success. Tell me what's your mindset? How did we get there? Because as I understand it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but being from Winona, you had to fight to get to where you are today. Tell me about that championship mindset.
Well, it's actually interesting because my mother was an educator. She was a teacher and a principal. And the big thing with her was obviously she wanted me to strive for excellence off the field in the classroom.
Mhm.
And I went through a phase when I was younger where I didn't want to stand out from my buddies. I wanted to be one of the boys, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to seem like I was better in sports or better in school. And I tried to hide it a little bit. And she set me down. She just said, "Hey man, she really said, what do you want to do? You want to be one of the boys or you want to be a millionaire?" And I thought she was talking about money.
Right.
All those years I thought she was talking about money, but in actuality she was just talking about being successful. And she let me understand that, man, it's okay to let your light shine. You know, go out there, do the best you can do in everything you can do, whether it's sports, whether it's academics, go be the best you can be. And that's what really got me to where I am now, as far as having an opportunity to be on championship teams and things like that. And I tell teams all the time, look, we might not win a championship in a season, but those guys are champions to me because of the journey, the way that they did it. And I've had some teams we didn't win championships, but they're champions in my mind.
Right. So when you were just talking about you had teams that did not. When you actually played, there's a friend of we have a mutual actually we have several mutual friends. And there was one that we know, Marco Coleman.
Right.
Marco, I have to say, Marco Coleman was from Dayton, Ohio. Again, and he was at my high school, Patterson Co-op Beavers. Give a shout out to DPS. We're DPS kids, but I know you played with him.
Right.
And not only did he do well at Patterson, then he went to Georgia Tech. I know he played in Washington. He played for the Dolphins. By the way, Marco, if you're out there watching, my favorite part of being Marco Coleman is when you were running around that track in Ace Ventura. Yeah, I remember that. But
Movie.
yeah, in a movie. But how did you impart that championship type mindset to people like Marco and others?
Well, Marco was a guy, they won a national championship when he was in college. So, you know, he knew what it took to be a champion. Really, it's more about you do run into some guys. For instance, I've had players on teams that would tell me they had never won a championship, so didn't know what it was like, what it took. And so the big thing is you really just it's no secret to it. It's really just about hard work, discipline, determination. And the biggest thing that guys have to learn is you got to learn how to work when nobody's watching, you know, when nobody's around. Like if you're only working when myself or the strength coach or the other coaches are around, it's not enough. You got to do more.
That's right. That's right. You know, I look at several coaches. I study championship coaches. I study championship players. I study entrepreneurs who have been very successful. And I watch what they do, how they do it. And there's one particular main thing, and that's something you just said. You work when no one else is watching or doing, and that's to me that's part of a mindset of a champion. And when we talk about work, there's something you had a different technique. Now remember, I did my research too, Coach. Uh, there's a technique that you used when you were in college at Roll Tide that you said was instrumental in assisting you in getting interceptions. I'm like, well, how does someone train for that? But you had an interesting way of doing it. Can you talk about that?
Oh man, you taking me way back. You're talking about we used to myself and one of my teammates. We had he was a cornerback guy named Tommy Johnson. Man, we used to have a kind of a small bungee cord tied to a football, and you take it and so you'd be standing and it'd be behind you, and you throw it forward, and that ball would come back at you. It'd come back fast. So the one thing about me, remember now, I was a running back in high school. So in actuality, I actually didn't have great hands coming out of high school. I really didn't. I won't lie about that. I didn't. But using that helped me to where I was able to get a few more interceptions than I probably would have got.
So that's way before the technique, I mean the technology that they have today, the different things that they use to help you the ball shoot out at you and things like that. But right. What made you think of that? And I'm gonna tell you where I'm going from here. What made you think of that piece of in your dorm room to do that?
I think it was probably my coach getting on my butt about being better at catching the football because he wanted us catching interceptions. That's the only thing I could think of right now. It might have been something different back then, though.
Yeah, you know, my brother, God rest his soul, he was a running back and he couldn't catch a cold. I mean, he couldn't catch a cold. And so I know how that is. But one of the techniques, I think, as I learn more about you, a lot of people don't know that you're proficient in math. You were on a math team. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, like I said, my mother was an educator, and that was my favorite subject growing up. It really it came easy to me. I enjoyed numbers and all that. And the funny part about it is numbers is a big part of the game of football, because what a lot of people don't understand is when we put 11 out there, they put 11 out there. The goal is offensively, if you're trying to score, is to get the defense outnumbered, get them outflanked, so to speak. And so that for me has always been interesting to me in the game of football. And then defensively, you're trying to, let's say you're blitzing the quarterback, you want to outnumber the protection, what they're trying to do protection wise. So I guess the numbers part of it, most people think that it probably wouldn't apply to football, but it really does.
See, all you young men out there, all you young women out there that are looking to play sports, listen to what he just said about the math. It's important. A lot of people say, well, math don't mean anything in athletics. Absolutely it does. So, Coach, talk about the analytical part with some technology? How do you incorporate that technology in your coaching?
Oh, that's great. That's good stuff because nowadays with technology, and even when I played the game, actually, when I played in college and pro ball, we would get basically analytical information telling us, for instance, if they have two tight ends in the game, one running back, two receivers, and it's first down, well, the percentage of run pass might be 70-30. And that's the type of information. I mean, you would get stuff for every down and distance, every personnel group they put out there. So as a player, I actually use that information. For instance, if I knew they were 90% run in a certain formation and they go motion, then that helped me to be able to get to that running back a lot faster. And that's why I was able to make a lot of tackles sometimes because I could anticipate by using the analytics of it, just the percentages that were given to us. And, we try to get our players to use that too. We do the same thing now.
So that is so interesting. How are you getting your players to do that? Like, okay, at your previous stops.
Well, for instance, most video systems that you use in college now, they actually can give you that information by every game that you play. So they can take your opponent's games and they'll put the formation, the play, and then they'll tell you your percentage of when they ran, of how many times they ran that play, certain situations. They might not run a certain play, but between the 40 and the 40, like most people, say, okay, people are going to try maybe a fake punt between the 40s, or you might get a reverse 20-yard line going in. So those are things that you look for in the data and the information. And like I said, a lot of people don't think it's that, I guess there's that much in it, but it is.
Right. So I love the analytical part of athletics, and that's a major part what you just spoke about. I do need to go back to your high school days, though. A lot of people don't know you were also a state champion in track.
Well, we had a pretty good track team. That was my second love. I love running track, man. It was pretty cool going to those track meets, especially it was hot in the spring, summertime, and made some good friends running track also.
Yeah,
some good friends.
But there was a particular event that you were, if I recall, maybe I'm wrong, you were second leg in the 4x1.
I normally ran the first leg. I was pretty good out of the blocks. I was pretty good coming out of the blocks, so I normally ran first leg. That was my best leg coming out the blocks, first leg.
First leg, okay. So who were those other three that ran with you? You remember?
Man, and now this is the deal. Now I was the fourth fastest on that relay team. The other three guys were faster. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. We had a guy named Tommy Williams. Man, he played ball at UAB. Had another guy named Amon Matthews. He ran track at Southern Miss. Had another guy named Michael Jeffries. He ran track in junior college. So I was the slowest. I tell people if you're the fourth fastest, that means you're the slowest on that relay team. I really was.
That's crazy. But Coach, as you see, we got 20 seconds. I want you to tell me some party words that you want to have for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs.
Well, a couple things, man. Hey, first, the chase is on 2025 with the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. And second, we want to see everybody, man, this spring at the spring game and next season, man. Everybody out there. Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs. As you know, the time is up. The game is over. But, Coach, we want to thank you for being on Clock It with AD Bryant. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah,
Clock
Coach.
It.
You got something, Coach?
I'm good.
All right. Well,
no overtime.
No overtime. Everybody, remember, it's just a game. So be humble, stay humble, but more importantly, be your best. God bless. Peace.
If God with me, who can be against me? Can't make me suffer, just make me high. Niggas